Hello again, Andreas here. In this short screencast, I'd like to show you the changes that I made to Markdown for Keyboard Maestro. The first thing that you're probably gonna notice when you import the new library, there's a new helper here for settings. I'm doing something really fancy now. We have preferences, basically. One of the first things that I use preferences for, you can now set your preferred double quotes style. Some people like the straight quotes, like I do, and some people I know use smart quotes instead. Just be reminded that whenever you use the quotes macro, it now uses this quote style. So if you set this to smart, don't forget to try this action. This sets the variable actually to the text, and don't mistype it because otherwise it fails. And what this does, I have my company name here already. So how convenient. It uses smart quotes, and if you set this to straight quotes instead, it uses, who would have thought it, straight quotes. So I hope that's kind of a welcome change. Something else that I've been doing, we now use Slack on a small podcast that I do with Sven Fechner and Patrick Welker. It's called Der Übercast, that you can see here, and the URL is derubcast.com. It's German, and we have a lot of fun. We really have a lot of fun doing this podcast, and if you are German, please check it out. The problem with Slack as team communication tool, though, is that it uses slightly different Markdown markup, and so I'm now allowing you to have app exceptions when they are foreground. For instance, I can use text edit to show you how this works. When I go here now, I select the text and insert italic formatting. It now uses the Slack formatting. And I think that's a default a lot of people can run with for the time being. What else is new? I made some changes to a couple of macros. They try now to be a little bit smarter. When the dialog comes up, they use the current clipboard, so they try to suggest a URL or something that you already have to save you some time. I made some changes to the marked preview and the markdownify macro, which I changed to convert selection to Markdown, which is more coherent with the rest of the Markdown library. I've made a pretty cool change that didn't really come from me originally to the footnote macro, and I hope the guy who sent me the original pull request is quite happy to see this. The footnote macro, when you insert a footnote, it now saves the cursor position and restores it, which is kind of cool. So press OK. And you saw some fancy stuff going on in the back, but you also see that my cursor is here, which is where it was. So what I'm doing in the background actually is I'm pressing Shift Command up to get everything that is in front of the cursor, and I put it somewhere on a variable, and Shift Command down to get the rest of the document and put it on another variable. Then I basically just compile everything and do some fancy pasting to bring your cursor back where it used to be. The user that provided this change was Nuclear Sandfire, and he's pretty happy with how this macro now turned out. It works much better in Cocoa apps than it does with non-Cocoa apps like Vim. So I actually use Vim, and so this doesn't work as well yet, and I'm still trying to figure out a good way for Vim to work with my Markdown library, because some things are just not as good as they are in Cocoa apps. So one more change. it wouldn't be a screencast about Markdown for Keyboard Maestro if there weren't changes to the new link macro. This is my absolute favorite part of the entire library, as you can imagine. So there's now a new option in the menu that says link clean. It's on by default. If you don't like it to be on by default, just switch the two numbers around, and it's off then. What it does, it doesn't do anything too fancy. It just takes the URL and runs it through two regular expressions that get rid of like things m.url or mobile.url. Recently I even saw a magazine use mobile2 URL and then the URL. So really just something pretty basic to get rid of everything that is in front of URLs usually. And it also tries to remove some of the garbage that is at the end of URLs, like tracking codes, referral codes, and that sort of stuff. I think that's a pretty cool change to this macro. And you already see that I've added affiliate tagging here, which takes us straight back to the settings helper. At the bottom here, you can specify whether to use affiliate tagging. And as you can see, this is off by default. You actually have to turn this manually on by writing yes, and then you also need to press the key. So at the moment this is set to no, but for the purpose of demonstration this doesn't matter. What it does, once it is set to on, it checks whether the URL contains Amazon or iTunes, and then just adds affiliate tags at the end of a URL. Actually, you may want to move the affiliate tags themselves to the settings helper as well. So there's just one place where you have to specify your affiliate tags. And as I said, it is nothing too fancy because personally, I'm not really too keen on affiliate tagging. I do affiliate tags some of the time, but most of the time it doesn't matter too much to me. And as it is the case with this Keyboard Maestro library, yeah, let me just explain one thing. As I said, it is off by default, but if you actually turn this on, by default, it uses my affiliate tags. So I guess if you want to show some financial support to the stuff that I'm doing, then just use my affiliate tags, but don't feel pressured because I don't really care, to be honest. This Markdown thing here, I don't need to make any money off this. I'm just doing this for my amusement in my free time because I like to geek around in my free time and doing some fancy scripting here and there. And yeah, no, I don't need all the money. I actually feel much happier if you star this repository on GitHub or send a tweet or something that says, hey, I'm using your Markdown library. This is really cool. Then I'm like, yeah, that's cool. But yeah, I don't need all the money for this. So I guess if you need to make some money or want to use affiliate tagging, here we go. If this is not fancy enough for you, to use something like affiliate link or affiliate, I think it is the app called, or just Brett Terpstra's search link instead. One more thing, the header macro. So in the past release, I've introduced a way to, where you can dynamically increase and decrease headers. Control Option H. This still works the same. You probably saw that the dialog is now coming up a little bit faster. This was also pretty much my focus point for this release. I wanted to make this much faster because I realized that although I was using like the control key and the arrow keys to decrease and increase for the header level and showing some pretty fancy use cases for Keyboard Maestro, it was not that useful in reality. So I removed it. This thing still works the same. You can tab out of, you can use the arrow keys and whatever. But I'm now waiting for you to press the number keys 1 to 6. And if you do, I assign the header level corresponding to the number key. This variable is just to make things a little bit faster, so you don't have to wait the 2 seconds that I just mentioned. This delete keystroke deletes the number that you just typed in. It waits a little and then it does the rest of its magic. So let me show you. As I said, you have to be a little bit quicker than in the past. You now have 2 seconds only to reach from your keyboard from the H key to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. I hope you can manage that. But if you do, this is what you get. Control Option H, 3. So as you just seen, this is much faster than in the past. Let me show you again, because this is so cool. Control Option H, 1. Wow. The upside is obviously that it's much faster than in the past. The obvious downside is that it doesn't have like the dynamic assignment of header levels anymore, so you can't just execute the macro and then say 1, no, I meant 3, no, 4, no, 2. But instead now you have to say, well, I want to have a header level of 2. And then you just live with your decision for the rest of your life, because you can't undo like I do. So that's about it for this release. I hope you enjoy the changes that I made to this Markdown library. Thanks to all the supporters, thanks to all contributors, and thanks at last but not least to you, the users. That's about it. Enjoy, take care, until next time, bye.